Just enough, just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip? Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
It is that time once again. Just the tip. Your dude Mike Tipton hanging out with you on a Taco Tuesday, taco list once again, because why on God's green earth would I have tacos on a Taco Tuesday as I continue to try to get everything set up over here? I never once said that I was professional, so there's always that. I am about to create a watch party over here. If you want to go watch the party on my Facebook live stream, I want to say what's up to everybody on Twitch, on Twitter, on Facebook, all over the place. Thank you all so much for tuning in, a part of the festivities here on Just the Tip. I was about to call it another name. I got to break that. I got to break that habit of what I have as my little guy Genders trying to come and be a part of the show. It's all good. It is all good. Want to give a shout out to my dude, King of Troy, saying that was a dope intro. I appreciate you, my dude. That song is Be Quiet and Drive. That was made for me back whenever I was doing a podcast by my dude, Emmanuel Montalongo. So thank you to him and Jacques Velez, who was on the drums doing all that stuff, man. Like, that is me. Like, that is mine, man. That's made specifically for me. I got no love for my dudes over there. There's a lot of stuff, though, that I want to talk about today on today's show. First off, I want to ask UTEP fans how they're feeling. You got to know Dana DeMille is going to come up with something stupid to say just because what he says is normally 95% stupid. So there's that he's got working for him. The other issue that I want to talk about today is like COVID-19 and all the nonsense that's surrounding games being played right now. Like feels comfortable watching or going to these games or any of that stuff, man. Like there's no way that anybody is comfortable going to any of these games. You got to be a different kind of person if you are actually feeling comfortable going to any of these football games and everything like that as well. I want to give a shout out to my friend Blanca, saying she loves the shirt. Thank you. It is Tipsy 915. This is my own brand. I want to start eventually getting a merch store and all that stuff. So I appreciate the love. I do have a couple of these. You want a shirt, DM me. I'm not going to sell them at this moment, but I will be selling them in the near future. Once again, though, trying to get that shameless plug for Shinerbach beer. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but every drop of Shinerbach is brewed in Shiner, Texas, by local craftsmen who take pride in their local little brewery and their classic Shinerbach. This is an American-style Shiner, or this is an American-style Bach that has clean flavor and a slightly sweet finish. Prost to all my friends out there. A little ASMR for you. As once again, I continue to lead the city of El Paso in ASMR-friendly shows. You guys are going to have to get used to hearing, I don't know if you heard it or not, but my little guy is out there causing all kinds of havoc for me right now. I got to move. I thought having my phone over on one side would be good, but it's not. I'm very left-handed in certain things, is what I would say. Stephen Michael Puga saying Shinerbach is the best. He has some in the fridge too. Hey man, pop one open. Cheers. Let's do it. It is Just the Tip here on a Tuesday afternoon, Taco-less Tuesday for your boy. But like I said, I wanted to ask UTEP fans how they're feeling about the game, like it being moved over to Midland now. The game between UTEP and UAB. Those of you that may know or may not know that news, I hope that's not breaking news for you, because this would be the worst place to get broken news to at. But UTEP is going to be playing UAB. It's going to be a home game for UTEP, as it's in the state of Texas, but it's going to be down in Midland at Grande Stadium down there. I know that Dana DeMille and the hardcore UTEP fans have been just mad as all hell, just angry as all hell about like UTEP not playing a home game in like 2 months. Again, though, you got to understand, like, nobody wants to come here right now. Like, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Nobody wants to come to the place where, like literally, and this is something that kind of upset me and it made me sad, was the simple fact of, in the last 10 days, and like, I'm not going to get political on this, but in the last 10 days, we have had, as a country, 1 million cases. This is the quickest we've gotten to 1 million, and it happened in the last 10 days. El Paso is responsible for 1.3% of that. Think about that. 1.3% of that 1 million cases came from here in El Paso. That's not a good look, man. It's definitely not a good look. Stephen Michael Puga saying, why not play in an empty stadium? And unfortunately for him, he did just find out about that. Look at us breaking news here on Just the Tip. The reason why, and like I understand that, is because you still have issues of getting in contact with people. You still have issues, Puga, of getting to the hotel. You don't know who you're going to be there with. You don't know what the sanitary precautions are. Like, of course, you expect it to be clean, but there's always that what if. Then, and this is the funniest thing about like someone like Dana DeMille saying, oh, well, you know, we've had 4-hour plane flights on the same day, and we got in, we played the game, and then we left. Cool. It obviously hasn't worked for you, UTEP, but normally whenever you play these games, you want to go get something to eat as well. If you go to a restaurant, if you go anywhere like that before you travel back, like that's going to be a long flight getting back to Alabama. Before you do any of that, you want to make sure your players are taken care of. So getting that meal, getting something to eat, like doing those little things like that, the basics of playing, you know, football, those are where you have your main risks at. And obviously, if you're going to be in a city that's not going to have anything available to you, why would you inconvenience yourself and then not know what it is that you're going to be able to get? You know what I mean? Like I understand why teams wouldn't come here. I understand why UAB is saying, no. We're not going to go to El Paso right now. Let's go somewhere that's like a neutral site closer to El Paso. We'll call Midland El Paso adjacent and play a game there. Once again, like it ain't necessarily about having the fans there. It's about the team being comfortable coming to the host city. And right now, I don't blame anybody if they're uncomfortable coming to El Paso, man. I'm uncomfortable going to Walmart. I can imagine how uncomfortable people from other states are coming to here. Like, come on. Like, it's just what it is. As I take a nice big swig of that beautiful Shiner beer. Blanca saying she's down to purchase one of these shirts. Like I said, I've got a website where we're in the works right now of getting the website made. It'll be, once again, a Just the Tip type website like this. It'll have a merch store. It'll have all kinds of stuff. I'll have like the masks, all that stuff. If any of you have seen me out there trying to pimp what it is that I do, there you go. Another thing that I kind of wanted to talk about today, as far as like football and all that stuff goes, college football, I do want to simply make the joke that it would have been helpful to the Dallas Cowboys if Ben Roethlisberger and Vance McDonald had Vance McDonald had that positive test on Saturday, and then Ben Roethlisberger would have had to quarantine and wait 5 days. It would have been very helpful to Dallas Cowboys fans. I want the NFL to investigate this thoroughly, and if so, take away all the points that may or may not have been attributed to Big Ben Roethlisberger as he attacked the Dallas Cowboys. Recount. Every point counts for Dallas. I don't know what happened there. Wow, that was weird. Something happened to my voice. I apologize for that, everybody. But LSU and Bama, that game is going to be postponed because of COVID. Arkansas, Tennessee is going to be postponed because of COVID as well. Not Arkansas, Texas A&M and Tennessee is going to be postponed because of COVID-19. Arkansas's head coach is not going to be at the game for Arkansas as Arkansas plays against Florida later on today or later on this week. The SEC looks like it's just blowing up right now. Wisconsin trying to get back to play football. My simple question to everybody out there is it really that important? Like right now, is playing football really the most important thing? Like I could think of a bunch of other stuff out there that would be more important than these kids going out there and playing football right now. But, you know, it is all about the simple selfish wants of us, I guess, as we've seen recently with a bunch of other stuff going around the city of El Paso. But that's another story for another time. Is it worth it? Like if you're a parent of one of these students Do you want your student to go out there and risk getting COVID playing a simple football game? Take out the whole, okay, these guys are going to go to the NFL. These guys might not go to the NFL, all that stuff. Like, we already know who the players are that are going to go to the NFL. We already know what NFL talent looks like. Like, why risk it for these other kids? Like, you already know, okay, this dude is a stud. Like Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence could miss the rest of the season. We all know Trevor Lawrence is going to the NFL. Huh. I love this right here too, because like I have control of some of the comments, and I got to actually look at the comments before I start doing some other stuff. We are streaming live on Twitch. This is like a new thing of streaming live on Twitch, and apparently people are offering me the opportunity to get famous. That's why I have an OnlyFans. Duh. Come on. How else are you gonna get famous? Nerds. Anyway, do you really want like your student to like if you're a parent of any of these teams, do you really want your student athlete to go out there and play in some of these games just because of what you see that's surrounding all of the stuff with COVID-19? Like if your kid is on the end of the bench or your kid is a freshman, do you want to risk them right now? And the reason why I say that with college football is because you have to have the 3 years of college football before you can go to the NFL. In college basketball, it's completely different. Like, you already know the studs. Like, these dudes are forced to go play a minimum year in college basketball, and then like they just go make their transition time to the NBA. It's kind of like what happened with Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons was just eligible for one semester, did not go to class the second half of his freshman season at LSU because he already knew he was going to the NBA and didn't care about those classes. So like what's the point of us like subjecting these kids to this stupid rule if it's not going to benefit them in the long run? You know what I mean? Like college basketball, I like what I'm seeing out of them. I like what I saw today out of the Mountain West Conference, where they're basically going to be playing a 20-game conference schedule. And it's going to be like a 2-game series. And I really like that. And I think what they're doing is super smart, because it'll be like 2 games at home for one team and then 2 games on the road, and they just travel 5 times. That's super smart. You still get 20 games into your schedule. You still get enough to like, okay, we could determine who an actual champion is here. Everyone's basically on a level playing field. That right there, that's out of the box thinking that I love from the Mountain West Conference, because let's be honest, even though the makers of Viagra may have come up and they rose up to the occasion to possibly have a vaccine, we don't know how readily available that vaccine is going to be. And it's going to be a while before every single one of us can get it. So the beginning of 2021 is more than likely going to be just like this ending of 2020, hopefully better. My God, it can't get worse. It can. I'm not going to jinx it. They're knocking on wood, all that nonsense. But the makers of Viagra come up with like this vaccine or possible vaccine that's 90% effective. I don't know how I feel about 90%. Kind of want that, a little bit higher, but that's a different story for another time. The Mountain West is being proactive in this whenever they're looking at like all the different things that could be available to them as a conference. And I want to see Conference USA do the same thing, because whenever you look at the breakdown of Conference USA, you have the East, you have the West, you got 14 teams in it. Like there's a lot that you can do here, and you could play like a similar schedule where you can find out an actual conference winner. I know there's going to be a lot of people out there, because I got this on Saturday as I was doing Fire and Ice with my dude Brandon the Iceman Cone, that are going to say, okay, well, you need those out-of-conference games for money. Let's look at what UTEP did this year, where they got $1.5 million from Texas. They had to spend some of that $1.5 million on some of these other schools that they just brought in as well. Like those were money games, quote unquote, for those schools to play UTEP. So how much of that million did they actually keep? And let's say they got rid of, 600,000 of it. Well, still now you have less than $1 million, and then that's going to try to go do a whole bunch of other stuff for a whole bunch of other programs. And yes, I get it. It's going to be a little bit of money for, for the program. But at the end of the day, is it really worth it? Is that $900,000 really worth what you're potentially risking right now? Because to me, they should have just played a conference schedule. Conference USA should have just came out and said, look, we're going to do the exact same thing everyone else is doing. We'll play a conference schedule, maybe one game out of conference, and try to finish the season. Because to me, if UTEP plays just Texas to start the year and then goes into conference, you can already by now have determined a conference winner. that's the crazy part about this is why Conference USA didn't go with just an all-inclusive conference play here like a lot of the other places did. Because it looks like, some of these other major conferences are going to be able to actually finish their season, while Conference USA is having a bunch of question marks right now, especially surrounding UTEP, who now has to go play a home game in Midland. And that's no shade on Midland. I know someone on Twitter got upset at me. It was like, "What? You don't like Midland? Oh my God, how could you not like Midland, bro? It's such a great place, Midland. It's a fun time. Like I go out there and I work too. I get it. I'm not hating on Midland. I just think it sucks for UTEP that they can't play a home game because people here can't control themselves, and going to a bar is much more important than anything else. And yes, they should be closed. And you're talking to a dude who just lost his job a week ago. Yes, place should be closed because the overall good is better than your own selfish wants at that moment. But I'm not going to get into that subject at this point in time on Just the Tip, on the Just the Tip network. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitch, we're all over the place right now trying to be cool and do all that stuff. And the reason why, I want to know these questions because, like I said, we just came up right now with 6 teams that are going to be impacted this weekend. Just simply this weekend out of the SEC, out of one singular conference. There's a whole bunch of games out there that are being, impacted. This UTEP game is going to be impacted whenever it gets played on a Friday afternoon at 10 o'clock in Midland. I might be down to watch that game, to be honest with you. But the reason why it's not at night is because Midland Lee is going to use their high school stadium for themselves the way that they should. Why not? That's their stadium. UTEP is just a guest in there. Why should the high school who owns that stadium move around their entire schedule so that UTEP can play the primetime game? No. Also, I kind of feel like Midland Lee would be able to beat UTEP. That's another story for another time. They are 3-2-1 against El Paso High. I'm just going to put that out there. Not Midland. UTEP is 3-2-1 against El Paso High. But I asked that question, and I wonder all these things because over the weekend we saw Notre Dame dethrone the number 1 overall, according to the AP, that BS, Clemson at the time. They were number 1. Notre Dame beat them. All these fans storm on the field. Maybe some of them didn't have masks on, that stuff. We've already seen issues coming out of Notre Dame where there have been a whole bunch of students that tested positive, which is what really impacted a lot of games for Notre Dame at the beginning of the season. And now you have yet another circumstance where there's a possibility of something like this happening. Of course, we won't know tomorrow. We're not going to know next week. It's going to be about 14 days before we figure this all out. So whenever you got people like Michael Puga who brought up a good point, why not just play in an empty stadium if you're UTEP? Why not play in an empty Sun Bowl? It's not necessarily that simple, man, because there weren't a whole bunch of students over at this Notre Dame game, and somehow they found their way to the middle of the field. If people are going to make it, if people want to go, they're going to go, no matter what obstacles are there to stop them. And we've seen it, maybe security ain't the best at some of these locations. Your boy has been able to break into many a stadium before. Probably shouldn't have admitted that, but I believe the statute of limitations might be done. I hope they are. As far as we're concerned, this all happened in the 90s. So we're 20 years removed from whenever your boy was a delinquent. But that stuff's scary, man. Whenever you walk around and you're watching a game and then you just see all these kids as a number 5 seed beats the number 1, or the number 5 ranked team in the country beats the number 1 ranked team. Which, by the way, why storm the field in that case? They didn't have Trevor Lawrence. You beat a redshirt freshman, a true freshman quarterback. Another story, another time. That stuff right there is really what people have to look into, man. That's when it's gonna go. Cool Fernie saying, bro, I think security can handle the 5 UTEP fans that go if they rush the Sun Bowl. I don't even think there'll be 1 security there. How many times have we okay, so a couple years ago, whenever I first moved back to El Paso, I wanted to take some pictures of the Sun Bowl. And I drove by and I was like, oh, okay, well, this gate ain't too locked. I'm going to say it like that. It wasn't too locked. So I walked in and I just went down to the bottom of the field. I was taking a bunch of pictures and nobody stopped me. I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to go walk around, do a bunch of other stuff. I was in the Sun Bowl at 10 o'clock in the afternoon. It's okay. It's okay. At 10 o'clock in the afternoon. or 10 o'clock in the morning rather. I'm just hanging out at UTEP. I got joined by somebody right now. This is you know what? This is the fun stuff about being able to do this at home. This is the fun stuff about being able to do this stuff at home, man. Like, I really did look at what happened last week for your boy. If I can get a little personal, I know I was talking about a UTEP story, but I really did look at this like last week as a blessing in disguise, man. Like being able to just like hang out here at home, because like I got a 3-year-old, you know what I mean? And like I've been working basically every day since he's been born, and like it's nice. Like I'm here at home and I'm just doing my thing, man. Like that's what makes me so happy. Blanca saying he is adorable. Jamie Pinkman also going on and saying, or Jaime Pinkman going on and saying, it's crazy because Midland Legacy Rebels play Midland High that evening, that UTEP plays, and they're going to let fans into the high school football game. His brother works the concession stands, 10 a.m. Mountain Central or Central Standard. I want to say it's Central Standard, but like I got to look more into the actual times on this stuff. And let's be honest, man, like I'm more than likely not going to watch that game on a Friday morning. Feels like I got other stuff to do. Jaime saying that he looks cute. He obviously gets those looks from his mama. Of course he does. I ain't the good looking one in any of this stuff, man. Come on. I'm just some random dude, man. Them boys though, like both of my boys, absolutely adorable. I'm going to have my hands full. My oldest one, Jericho, he's 8 years old. Like his school has team meetings and stuff because like he's learning here from home. And for some strange reason, there's always like these little girls that are like calling into his team, like inviting him to like after school teams meetings where it's just them. So like they can just talk to him and see him and like see what it is that he's playing. You know what I mean? Like my God, dude, like I'm going to be in some trouble with these little boys because they are some good looking little boys. And Jericho's like tall already. Like he's tall, dark, and handsome. I have no idea. It's not going to be, it's going to be tough for your boy. Jaime's saying it takes a real man to admit what you just said. Why did I? There's a reason why I sound like this, and you sound like whatever it is that you sound like. Way too much testosterone in this voice. But like I said, man, this has been like the coolest part about working from home is like just being able to see, and like being here at home, just being able to see like the way that these boys interact, like how happy they are. As a matter of fact, I just made cheesecakes today. This would have been my mother's 91st birthday. And she taught me how to cook and bake and do all that stuff. So what I did in honor of her is I baked. Everyone in my family loves whenever I make cheesecakes and all that stuff. So I made a homemade cheesecake doing all that. I'm more than likely going to make a homemade cherry pie. Trust me, whenever I say this, it takes work to go from what I look like in the Air Force to what I look like now. It took work, boy. Believe me whenever I say that. And I am willing to put in that work. But yes, I got the homemade cheesecake. I got all that stuff as well. Your boy is doing a good thing there. Jaime is saying what everybody says as well, saying, okay, because I am the youngest of 11, I had to have been my mama's cheaple. Believe me when I say this, my dude. There was 11 of us. There ain't no way anybody could be a cheaple. Like you had to put in that work, man. Like your boy was under mobile homes at like 5 years old, moving cinder blocks and cutting sewer lines and all kinds of stuff. Believe me when I say this. No, like I was not the cheaple. I was the one though that she said, okay, you're not the best looking one. I was like the runt to the litter. You're not the best looking one. I'm gonna teach you how to cook because there ain't gonna be anybody that's gonna be able to cook for you. You goofy looking MF. She probably didn't say that back end, but no, she taught me how to cook. Like I had to learn how to cook and do all that because of how big my family is. I got like 66 nieces and nephews. So you could imagine what, the holidays and stuff like that were like. My dad is the second youngest out of like 10. So like Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that stuff. Yeah, your boy had to learn how to cook. So yeah, and I was like the only one that actually paid attention to that stuff. Like you guys have no idea how often I get like requests from like family members on like how to make homemade cornbread or how to make like any of this other stuff. Trust me when I say this, again, it takes a lot of work to look like what I look like. and it's delicious, and I will never turn it down. But no, I was not my mama's cheaple. I don't think anyone in my family really was, to be honest with you. Jaime is saying, goody looking, you are correct. Typical old Hispanic family. Oh, trust me. But once again, like, that's the funny part, man, is like I'm adopted. I was adopted by white people, and they just had a big old family. Like that's just what it is. Like these Southern Baptists, as you can see. Bill says he wants my son to host. Okay, so let's see how this goes. See how this goes.
The ghost.
Yeah, there's no ghost. What do you mean ghost?
Black.
Okay, how about you go play? Okay, sing.
Daddy. H-H-A-K-N-N-N-P-G-U-S-T-U-V. W-X-Y Daddy. And I knew my disease. Next time a juice in me.
Yay. Go play, buddy, okay? Go play with brother. Thank you. So there you go, Bill. I hope that was good enough for you as far as the hosting of Gender making his radio / internet streaming debut here on Just the Tip. I'm saying not only does he have more is his looks better, he also has a better voice. I agree with that as well.
Letter
You see the way he grabbed the microphone out of my hand?
Crab.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, crab. What about the crab?
Beach.
It's on the beach.
Sea.
See?
Sun.
What else?
Princess.
A princess?
Princess Sun.
So he is
Sun. Try again.
Try again. So he is 3 years old. He's getting ready to go to pre-K and all that stuff. So he's like learning like a crazy little guy. But he's been enjoying this time with Daddy being home, and now he wants to be a part of the show with Daddy. So I am about that. Yeah? Can you go play with brother? Or do you want to host? Blue. What's your favorite color?
The letter A.
No. You can't play with that over there. See what he sees? He sees the lights from whenever he talks into the microphone, and he wants to grab the board, and that's the one thing he's not going to be able to grab. So he's going to have to go now. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead. Go play with brother. Here we go. It is okay. We're going to get to some of the comments over here. Sergio Robles saying Gender is hands down the best host ever. I agree with that, man. Like, I might as well just give him the entire show. Dana Morales saying that he is adorable. I appreciate that as well. Blanca saying he's adorable as well. And Jaime saying service, brother. I agree with that. But yeah, he's having a good time. That is really all that matters. So now he just leaves cracking up. I have no idea what it was I was talking about. So, hey, whatever goes on, I'm just going to let you know this right now. I am loving this. I am absolutely loving being able to just stay at home, do my thing, and like enjoy that. Like enjoy moments like that, man. I have been a big proponent of, like you don't get to make up time. And this is like the best part about it is spending this type of time. Okay, no screaming into the microphone. There we go. But yeah, like I said, I'm a big proponent of like you cannot make up time. These are memories, man. Like these are more valuable than anything else that's out there, and I will stand by that to the day I die. Bill Kuhn reminded me that I was talking about UTEP moving their game to Midland. Thank you, Bill. I was also in the middle of talking about how big my family was, and of course, the breaking into the Sun Bowl, walking around for roughly 45 minutes before somebody like said something to me. And it wasn't even anything of like, hey, what the hell are you doing here? They were asking me what I thought about UTEP happened, like what I thought UTEP football was going to do for that year. Ultimately, I said UTEP would win 3 games. They won 1, but it was better than winning none. But UTEP football moving their game over to Midland, like I want to know how y'all feel about that, and if they are actually letting in fans, like I'm saying, like I want to say it was his brother or his brother-in-law works over there at the as concessions, and is saying that they might actually let people into the game. He said it was his brother, and they might actually let people into the game. So now I want to ask, like UTEP fans out there, are you willing to make that drive? Are you going to be willing to go out there to Midland and go support your UTEP Miners? Are you a real fan is what I'm asking you, UTEP fans. Are you going to go out there and support your UTEP Miners if they allow fans in Midland? Bill Kuhn saying no fans. But you see, and that's the weird thing about it is, according to what Jaime says, his brother, who works concessions over there at Grand Communication Stadium, is saying, like, hey, they are allowing fans. They're going to allow fans at the high school football game. If they're going to allow fans at the high school football game, they might as well allow fans at the UTEP game. I don't see why not. I don't see how that would be a bad thing. Maybe you give a little bit of a reward. Like, I know UAB is not going to come over here because of everything surrounding COVID. Also, I wouldn't blame Midland for not wanting anyone from El Paso to go there. So there's that. There's that issue with everything as well. So we'll figure it out. I do think though that this is going to be on ESPN Plus, maybe. So we'll see. Hopefully, this game is broadcast somewhere, and we can watch it, and we can make fun of UTEP, or y'all can watch it, and I'll make fun of UTEP because this is one they're going to lose. I'm going to say that out there right now. There are a few games I think they can win. Like I think they could beat UTSA. I believe that they can beat North Texas. I believe they can beat Southern Miss. They're going to lose against the middle of one of the best teams that's out there in Conference USA right now, which is the UAB. Sergio Robali saying Midland isn't a COVID hotspot as the borderland currently is. Bill Kuhn going on to say it may be conference rules as well whenever it comes to, okay, who's going to be allowed to actually attend these games or not. This has been like the toughest part to handle whenever you try to grasp everything that's going on whenever it comes to like professional sports or even college sports, is none of these conferences have really come out with like laid out plans of what to do with fans. It's basically do as you wish, do as the host city wants, because that's basically what it is. Like COVID ain't the same in El Paso as it is in Denton, as it is in Charlotte, as it is in FIU or any of these other areas. It's not the same. So the conference really hasn't come up with Serge saying that I need to stop holding out on the Shiner. I mean, you know where it is, man. This beautifully delicious Shiner Bock beer brewed deep down in the heart of Texas in Shiner, Texas. Oh, there's nothing more delicious than this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take me another swig. Or two. Bill Kuhn saying I need to put a nipple on it. I apologize that I am not slamming it back. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe on tomorrow's show in honor of Veterans Day, as I am an Air Force veteran. My guy Jaime Pinkman, also an Air Force veteran. Maybe with that, I will come on here and I will get just belligerent slamming them back for you if that's what you would prefer. Bill, I will make sure I do that for you. You and I can have a brewski together. I will bring, if anyone wants to be, I will put a link out there. You could be a part of the show. We could just drink beers and BS, and I am perfectly fine with that. I did fail to mention, though, that this show is brought to you by our friends over at El Paso Wing House. They're doing a lot with us over here, so support the people that are supporting us as well. The El Paso Wing House are doing great stuff. They got a ghost pepper wing. I cannot wait to check that out. It's a ghost pepper wing challenge, bone-in wing, 8 wings, 30 minutes. That's the time frame you got. You win it, you might get a T-shirt, or I know they're making the T-shirts. They're also going to take your picture, do all kinds of stuff like that as well. Sergio Robali saying he knows where I live. Jennifer Gonzalez thanking us for our service. Thank you for your recognition as well. Coach Kano saying shout out to all the vets, MT, especially United States Air Force veterans. I appreciate that right there. But tomorrow is going to be our Veterans Day, quote unquote, spectacular that we are going to be doing here on the Just the Tip Network. But getting back to what the subject was at hand, it's hard to think about what's actually going to happen with the games going forward whenever you look at the landscape of college football, because it is up to the university to have fans. And we've seen that this is all about the money grab. This is 100% the money grab, because that's what runs college athletics. Like, let's be honest, that's what runs sports, is money, is the finances. And yes, if you can get just a little bit off the top from having a couple of fans there, Jennifer Gonzalez saying she saw a baby. Trust me, if you rewind about 15 minutes, you'll see a lot more of a baby as well. Oh, he's such an adorable little guy. God, I am blessed. Like 100%, I am very blessed in that aspect. But whenever you look at like the landscape and everything like that, and you look at the sports landscape, everyone out there is saying, okay, well, COVID's going to be here. Let's just go do our thing. And I feel like UTEP does have a little bit of an axe to grind, because it's not like anything was happening at UTEP. Nothing was happening at UTEP games. And they might want to say, okay, well, we want some of those dollars. Like, we need to have those dollars in order to survive, because once again, that is what college athletics is all about, is getting those dollars. But I feel like it's dumb, if I could just be that frank. Like it's asinine that anybody at UTEP would say, oh, okay, well, let's have fans at the stadium and let's do this, especially given what the atmosphere is like right now in El Paso, where, you have people who have lost jobs, where you have people who no longer have their establishments open right now because of the rules that surround them. Like, I saw a very interesting article, and it's one of the, or not article, but news story. And it's one of those ones that kind of gets glossed over because we really don't think about these things. But, like exotic dancers, how many of them are single parents? How many of the bartenders that work at these places need to have that money? And I understand the concept that people have of, hey, let's leave it open. Everybody should be doing their part. And for the most part, people in El Paso were saying, hey, we've been doing our part. We've been doing fantastic. And over the last couple of months, it's been just a hellacious time for the city of El Paso. As a matter of fact, I know people who have had family members that have passed away, and like, I can't sit here and think to myself, what is a good outcome? Because I don't believe that there is a right or a wrong answer to this. All I know is that we have to actually do something. Like, sitting back and doing nothing isn't going to be the answer. So for people to say, okay, well, why not just go to UTEP, and why not have those teams come here? Like, you're not looking at the grand scope of things. And that's really what gets frustrating, because you're talking about other people's lives and not yours. If you were in that situation, would you want to travel into a city like this? And I'll equate it, because I know a lot of people out there like movies and stuff like that. I'm not a big fan of zombie movies, but like, I get the premise of them. If there was a city that had a zombie apocalypse, you driving into it? The answer is no. That there's a city that had anything going on with it, where you can actually see who the bad guy is, or the bad person is, or who the villain is of these places. No one's driving headfirst into that unless you've got, just enormous sack on you and you are not scared of literally anything. It's worse whenever you don't know what it is and you cannot see what the threat is. So you can't blame these other schools for saying, hey, I kind of don't want to go there and I kind of don't want to risk it right now, because we don't know. Like you don't know. And that's the biggest unknown is that, like, that's the biggest fear, is that unknown. And whenever these schools say, hey, I don't want to go to El Paso, I don't blame them. A lot of UTEP fans get mad. I know Coach DeMille's like, oh, we haven't played a home game in XYZ. Get over it, dude. It ain't about you. It ain't about the football schedule. It ain't about none of that stuff. It is about simply survival and doing the right thing. And we're not seeing that happen here in the city of El Paso. Unfortunately, I got nothing but love for you, El Paso, but come on, we are effing up bad. I know it's a stream. I could have said it. I'm just trying to be decent. They're fucking up. But nonetheless, Ben Roethlisberger, like I said, was among 4 Steelers who now have to, what a transition, was among one of the 4 Steelers now who has to quarantine. He's got to get 5 straight negative tests in order to play against the Cincinnati Bengals this upcoming Sunday. I made the joke that, hey, it would have been nice for this to have happened Sunday. I would have been happy. Like I said, the Dallas Cowboys need to go sue the NFL and try to get some points headed their way or handed to them to see, or maybe points taken away from Ben Roethlisberger because, he had COVID. He could have done something different, topical. But it kind of once again brings up like the grander scope of all this stuff is like, what are we doing? Like I get it. And to be honest with you, I haven't actually seen much of a difference outside of whenever the cameras pan out and they show you the entire stadium. I haven't seen a difference of fans being there at an NFL game to fans not being there at the NFL games. And I feel like the NFL has done has done it a little differently and done it better than what Major League Baseball and what the NBA did, because like you could see the absolute, lack of fans and it kind of messed with your head. Whereas the NFL, all you're doing is looking down at the actual field itself and seeing the plays. So why allow fans to like any of the NFL games, especially like now? Like I want to say it was like almost 20,000 or so at the Dallas Cowboys games. So now you had a guy that tested positive that was down on the field. You don't know how much interaction there might have been from someone that was down working on the field to going up into like the concessions and all these little areas now. So now there's 20,000 people that I think, according to rules and contact tracing and all that stuff, need to possibly not be going out there, but how many of them are? And now we might see the city of Dallas become a hotspot because of the way that this virus is like spreading and exponentially and all this other stuff. So whenever you look at like that landscape of things, it's like, why have the fans? And Jerry Jones can deal without fans. Like college football and the NFL are massively different whenever you look at it like this. And whenever you look at it in revenue shares, the NFL simply takes less than 5% of their overall revenue from the gate and from concessions at the actual stadium. Whereas college football takes roughly 70 to 75%, depending on what the university is, of those concessions and stuff as their overall revenue annually. And the gate going into that as well, like ticket sales and concessions make up so much more of the pie for college athletics than what it does for the NFL. College athletics, once again, like I know it's all about the environment and all that stuff, but I mean, come on. The NFL, especially the NFL, the product has not impacted TV at all. If you're a wrestling fan and you were watching like the WWE yesterday, you've been watching like AEW, you kind of see like the digital fans, especially if you're watching the NBA and you saw the digital fans, you kind of thought to yourself, man, that's weird. Or you would focus in on like one fan's goofy face as they're kind of like staring at the camera, like really weird. And like they got their face up on the camera a little too much. You know what I mean? Like you were seeing that. And like, that's where I kind of felt like the NBA made it a little awkward, was from that interaction. The NFL hasn't had any of those issues. Like the NFL has been good. The product that we see on the field has been great. Like we're watching the most amount of points scored in NFL games in like NFL history. Most of them against the Dallas Cowboys. So why even allow like fans into these games if you're the NFL? Because it doesn't really impact your overall. And now, like if there was, and like this might be a big if, it might not be an if at all. But I will bring this up to people again. If you had a bag of Skittles and you were told that one of those Skittles in this bag can kill you, are you still going to eat that bag of Skittles? And the answer to it all is no. Unless you're me and you're a big fat guy and you just want to eat. So I think there's like a lot of stuff that we got to look into whenever it comes to like sports and like how we're going to address this next year coming up. Because like I said, even though the folks at Pfizer have risen to the occasion and given us all what we wanted, which is a possible vaccine, how effective is it going to be? How ready is it going to be? Et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot more questions than there are answers right now. I'm going to get off my pulpit right now as we get ready to wind down the show. I do want to say this, though, before I leave. I am really excited about the NBA season. I know, like I'm probably the weirdest Texan out there where I care more about basketball than I do about the NFL or about football. I love basketball. I'll watch it at any level. I've gone to high school basketball games. I will watch women's like I just love basketball. I am so glad that the NBA is going to come back on December 22nd because it's like a little bit of hope. And I think it kind of gives people what they've been wanting out of the NBA for the last few years, where they say, why don't you start on Christmas? I like the December 22nd start because you get like those nonsense teams that no one wants to watch. Like this year, it's going to be the Spurs, like where you get the random Spurs and Pelicans game where, you know, the big signing for the Pelicans is Stan Van Gundy. You know what I mean? Like you get that knocked out of the way. And then on Christmas, you're able to have like your marquee matchups of maybe an NBA Finals rematch between the Lakers and the Miami Heat. That's what I'm super excited about. Like I hope the NBA and I hope MLB, for what they, you know, for what this pandemic did, it kind of gave us a little bit more of stuff that we should see coming out of both of those leagues. I like the idea of a 72 game season in the NBA. I know it's not much of a difference from 82, but like there's something about that 72 where like I like it, where your NBA season is basically Christmas Day going in through like July, and then it's out by the time the NFL comes because the NBA got that ass handed to them by the NFL on just a regular, you know, Sunday night NFL game between X, Y, and Z versus the NBA Finals where the NBA got slapped around. They took their whooping and they decided they don't want to try to do that again. So I like what the NBA is doing here, and I hope that this is something that we could see from the NBA going forward. Like I would like the NBA to have a 72 game season that starts right around Christmas or on Christmas and then lasts all the way through the 4th of July. Like, why the hell not? I don't see anything bad about that. Major League Baseball, and this is going to be the one that's going to be really iffy going forward. Major League Baseball got so many more fans back because they made it exciting. They expanded the playoffs. They did all kinds of stuff. But Major League Baseball, as we've seen, is a little more hesitant to change than the other sports are. I don't know if they could do a 60 game season. I would be fine with like an 80 game season for the MLB. But one thing's for sure is they got to shorten the season. They got to keep the expanded playoffs because if they don't, they're going to lose the fans again. And it's really this. It's all about keeping the fans. And I am super excited to see what the NBA is doing. It seems that the NBA is like the tip of the spear, so to speak, whenever it's, you know, going and attacking COVID right now and adapting to all the stuff that's surrounding these uncertain times. Everybody, I'm going to get off my pulpit. I appreciate you so much for tuning into the Just the Tip right here on Just the Tip Network. Once again, like if you got an opportunity, go out over to the West Side, order local, do all that stuff. I got my friends over at Undisputed Craft House, 1881 Saul Kleinfield. Go check them out. They got great deals as well. Our friends over at the El Paso Wing House who sponsor the show, good, love them. We're actually going to have a representative of theirs on the show tomorrow. We're going to talk a little bit about like baseball and stuff like that, and we're going to kind of peel back the curtain a little bit into one of the owners of the El Paso Wing House. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Those minor gold wings are fantastic. You will not be disappointed. Go check them out. And tomorrow, I am going to be giving away a free pair of tickets for lunch for 2 people to go check out the El Paso Wing House. You get it hooked up by us over here on Just the Tip. Everybody, thank you so much. Enjoy your Taco Tuesday. Have an ice cold Shiner Bock on behalf of me. And hopefully you have a great day. Tomorrow's Veterans Day, and I am super excited about that. I'll see you all tomorrow.